Neon yellow again. This has to be the most overused color in modern footwear, period. Like, surely people have to be getting sick of neon yellow at this point. It's getting a little bit out of hand. Oh, my shoe's untied. What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas X17.1 in the latest solar yellow colorway, essentially reverse of the Ocean Storm pack. So of course, in today's video, we're gonna take a closer look at the colorway itself. We'll talk tech specs and performance features, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can click the little pop-up in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. Also, if you're watching one of my videos for the first time, don't forget to subscribe for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Included in the box is a black mesh string bag, black strings with the Adidas and X logos on the front in white. Jokes aside, I actually think this is a good looking colorway, although I will say in person, it looks a little bit cheap, and I've been thinking about why that is because it's difficult to put my finger on it. But I think that in comparison to the Dust Storm Pack color, which featured a white base to the upper, this solar yellow base to me just looks a little bit plasticky in person. I think that's why I get that sensation of cheapness in terms of the appearance of the shoe. Now, what's interesting about this colorway is the accent in terms of all the little dots on the upper, which are actually just dots, not perforations. A lot of people mistake that on these shoes. The actual Adidas branding and the X logo, and then the collar around the edge here where you do have this kind of elasticated material, that's not black. It's like a dark, dark navy blue. And I wore a black shirt as a reference, so you can see the difference there. You can definitely tell that's blue. You can definitely tell that my shirt is black. Although I will say that unless you're really up close in a well-lit environment, it doesn't really look blue. It pretty much just looks like neon yellow and black. This edge of the collar looks really blue, but everything else, like I said, definitely looks a lot more black, which I think I've said like 8 times at this point, but we're gonna keep it going. You have a neon yellow for the sole plate as well, and then translucent black stud tip. So overall, pretty decent looking colorway. It's a very straightforward shoe in terms of its overall design. Very simple, and honestly, the blue and the neon yellow together, like I said, look pretty good, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. From a performance standpoint, the X17.1 is one of 2 top-end models in the current X lineup. At the very top, the most expensive model, you have the X17 Plus Pure Speed, which is different from this shoe in that it has an internal tech fit system, a big giant lace cover, a thinner, slightly softer synthetic, a slightly different fit because of the design changes, but the sole plate and stud pattern and general cut in the heel remains pretty much identical. With the X17.1, the retail price is $100 less at $200. So from a value perspective, it is technically a better value in terms of a shoe that's basically going to perform the same, but I will say this in regards to my own personal preference, I do prefer the Pure Speed. I think the upper is softer, I prefer the touch that it has on offer, I find it to be a more comfortable shoe, I prefer the way that it fits. I think it's a better shoe overall, even though objectively, they will perform pretty much identically. So it really is a matter of what you want, a matter of what you're looking for, as well as a matter of what your budget will allow for. But I do think, while it is kind of a 1A, 1B type situation, that the Pure Speed is actually the better shoe. The upper is described as Tech Fit. You can see it listed right here on the medial side in the tech specs area of the upper. Now, tech fit doesn't really mean all that much because they describe the upper on the Pure Speed as being a tech fit upper as well, even though it's entirely different. What it is though, is a synthetic material that would look like it's on the thinner side. I think a lot of people want to compare this to something like a Nike Mercurial Vapor 11, when in reality, the Vapor 11 is a much thinner, much more raw barefoot sensation in terms of what this has on offer. While the synthetic as a base is fairly thin, it's got a pretty heavily padded liner on the inside. So if you're looking for that true barefoot experience, that's not exactly what this shoe has on offer. It also has a one-piece enclosure, which is nice, but I feel like the volume and amount of bulk you have through the midfoot area just doesn't feel right, at least for me personally. I'm not crazy about the way this shoe fits and feels on feet. They also managed some pretty clunky seams here on the medial side of the forefoot, which I'm not too crazy about, with the other seam being right here at the back, which does not bother me at all. Then you'll find one more seam that you do kind of feel as a hard spot through the middle of the foot, kind of sealing the two sides of the shoes together, with this part at the top, which is basically what I would describe as tech fit material, being kind of an elasticated mesh that really creates what looks like a mid-cut collar, but really just feels like a standard low cut. Really nothing special about that type of feel. So in terms of touch on the ball, it's kind of in between being thin and in between being padded. It's somewhere in the middle, and it's just something that I'm personally not too crazy about. It's not that the touch is bad, it just doesn't feel like it's focused enough to be one specific thing, which is kind of what I look for in a soccer cleat. You also find the non-stop grip branding right here on the medial side, also where it says Tech Fit. That's supposed to be their wet control element, similar to Nike's ACC, and you're not gonna find the typical non-stop grip dots on this shoe. You have all kinds of little dots, but those are actually painted on, and if you look really, really closely, there is a micro texturing on the surface of the upper that is so minimal that honestly you don't feel it on the ball whatsoever. So in regards to there being non-stop grip on the shoe, traditionally non-stop grip is the little dots, but there are technically no little dots on the upper of the X17.1, so take that feature for what it is. The lacing system runs dead center, as you guys can see. It looks a little bit unusual in that it kind of seems like it ends too shallow just because of how far this extends out, but that's not actually the case at all. The heel lockdown when the laces are secure is 100% fine. What I don't care for as much is the way the laces actually attach to the upper. Obviously, it's got a one-piece construction, and normally with this type of setup, you'd have a dual lace hole setup, but instead, they decided to make these nylon lace loops, which they look like they would actually be full straps that extend into the base of the sole. That's not actually the case. They basically just sit underneath the upper and in between the liner on the inside of the shoe, and they're sewn in right here. So what you end up having is this little hard spot just below these placeholders, and then the lace holders, the placeholders for the laces themselves create a little bit of bulk as well. So you can see the lacing system, I guess, more visibly and more noticeably than on other shoes, kind of sits directly on top of a flat surface for the upper. Then you do have these hard spots underneath as well. It's not that it's detrimental to the feel or performance of the shoe, but for $200, it's not necessarily something that I expect, and it's just a feel that you can get a much better quality experience at the price point from other models. So that's kind of my main criticism with this type of system right here. As far as the heel area is concerned, like I said, it kind of looks like a mid-cut. It extends a little bit higher towards the front. It of course has the S-curve heel as well, which originated from the very popular Ultra Boost running shoe. The idea here being that it curves back and extends up to alleviate pressure on the Achilles tendon, which I will say this is very, very comfortable in the heel area of the shoe. Lockdown is excellent, so no complaints there, although I don't really care for how it looks as much, but it's not really in the way either. You're gonna find that the heel liner is a smooth synthetic suede, very, very nice in terms of feel and lockdown on the heel, nice amount of padding back there as well. And then of course, you do have the external heel counter, which kind of ties the whole heel area together. The insole is fully removable, featuring a synthetic suede liner on top and being made out of a single layer of this black foam. It's pretty much the typical comfort insole from the Adidas brand. Not bad at all, and I actually really do like the liner on the surface of this one. The Soleplate is what's called the sprint frame. We've seen this from Adidas quite a bit over the last 7 years now. It's got the external heel counter attached directly to the one-piece sole plate, the sole plate being made from a TPU plastic material, decent flexibility in the forefoot, and then obviously the spine running through the midfoot and heel to add rigidity in those areas of the sole plate. This gives the shoe a fairly lightweight feel, which we'll talk about the weight in just a second. And as far as the stud pattern is concerned, this is their firm ground AG layout, so it is technically FG-AG, suitable for use on both firm natural grass as well as artificial grass playing surfaces, although I would definitely say this is more of a true FG stud pattern than it is a true AG stud pattern. But if you do want to buy only one pair of shoes to use on both natural and artificial playing surfaces, these will get the job done and will also hold up pretty well, which is definitely important in regards to using any shoe on artificial grass. The stud pattern layout itself is the same you'll find across the entire Adidas brand in terms of having the 6 studs in the forefoot, 1 in the middle, and then the 4 in the heel. You can see these studs have kind of like a rounded, almost conical type shape, a little bit of a raindrop shape right there, kind of all over the place, but because the layout doesn't change all that much and the studs themselves aren't necessarily blades either, it kind of feels the same as what you'll get across the board with Adidas stud patterns right now, which is not necessarily a bad thing at all. In regards to weight, the X17.1 weighs in at 7.6 ounces in a size 9 US, which in comparison to the X17 Plus Pure Speed, that shoe in the same size weighs in at around 7.4 ounces. So these are a hair more in terms of overall weight. Not something that I would say is noticeable on feet, but for $200, considering that this does fall into the speed boot category, there are lighter options out there for the same amount of money. Not to say that these are heavy, but you do have lighter options if that's something that you value in a soccer cleat. As you can see, I swapped out the stock laces, which are neon yellow with some white accents, which almost don't look like they go with the shoes, with some junior length reflective SR4U replacement laces, which are a perfect match, perfect match. They're a perfect match, plus they have the reflective bits, plus they're junior length, which the stock laces I think are a little bit too long, which you'll see once I get the shoes on. Anyways, if you are interested in a pair of SR4U replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the X17.1 is actually a very comfortable shoe out of the box. There's really nothing about it that's going to give you too many issues in regards to discomfort during the break-in process. You can kind of feel this seam here on the medial side of the forefoot, like I complained about a little bit earlier, especially when you make contact with the ball, but it's not uncomfortable to the point where it's going to cause you blistering or something like that. The overall upper feels soft against your feet, and it definitely does soften up as you wear them in. The heel lockdown is very, very good, and again, for the most part, the shoe just feels pretty good out of the box. As far as the fit is concerned, it has a snug fit. I wouldn't say that they are overly tight by any means. Again, nothing like a Mercurial Vapor in terms of the overall tightness and wrap on your foot, but they're comfortable enough. It's got a decent amount of width to them. I wouldn't say that they are super, super wide. The upper will give a little bit in regards to stretch, except for where that seam is located. Again, keep that in mind, which is a pretty important area. But for the most part, I think these will fit most people quite comfortably, as long as you want a more snug fitting shoe. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Overall, I think it's safe to say that the X17.1 is not my favorite. I know there's a lot of people that have had the X16.1 and now have the X17.1, and they absolutely love the shoes. And if you're one of those people, that is great. If what I described to you sounds really, really good, then by all means, I think this is an option worth considering. But if your budget allows to spend a little bit more money, or if you can find a Pure Speed discounted on sale at around $200, I definitely do think that the Pure Speed is a better shoe in the X line than what you can get from the X17.1. And if you don't have the budget for it and you're just after a thin, lightweight synthetic shoe, I think something like the Mercurial Vapor, while very, very different from the X17.1, is a better overall performer. All right, guys, so that is my review for the X17.1. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, again, you can click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. If you have any questions for me, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.